Stereotyping, stereotype, however we choose to look at it or we say it. It's something that we all at some point in our life fall short, but it becomes dangerous when it becomes your way of making a judgment on conclusion. None of us is perfect. We all have our differences. And stereotyping has a very dangerous connotation added to it because if abused, it can lead to chaos everywhere. For example, one that's always we always keep forget is like, for example, slavery. For a colonial power to have access to a slave, someone had to do the delivery. Apart from them doing the what's it called, them doing the attacking and doing whatever it is, someone had to have compromised and then gave access and criterias so that they were able to use. Then does it mean that everyone born of that generation is a colonizer? Mm-mm. What about among the ones who are sold out? Even amongst themselves, someone did. For example, is how we look at entertainment industry. We always want to put blame to another place, let's say the producers or the record labels, etc. But even the artist has their own place to play because they can easily use the platforms they have to project powerful and important moral values, whatever it may be, that could build up a community. But if everything you're seeing is about guns, prostitution, infidelity, and all the other vices, who is who? Is it the person who sits on the top, and then, or you who's doing singing the lyrics and doing having all the imagery, and they whoever they are, just marketing it for you? But who did the singing? You did. Nobody knows the people behind. It does not mean they don't have a role to play. The fact that they are selling out your trash, to be precise, makes them also part of the problem. But you have a choice as an entertainer to decide, I will project positive values to help build up a community. It's that simple. And stereotyping will come very well from the point of it's only those people who are always doing this. But most of these artists or entertainment people, who are the people? Are their lawyers? It's not the people of their race. It's a different one. The reality. Even the songs we listen to, whether it's locally, they'll always have particular type of projecting values that are not positive values, but we want to blame. But that's what the people are listening to. Yeah, yes, you may hit 1 million views, but what is a view? What is the view? What is the totality of a view? Or what are the components that make up a view? We have the one who is discrediting it but can't speak it out because, well, it's a view. They're just checking. They just want to confirm. There's a second one who comes from a rumor, or they had this song played somewhere, then they want to check, they view. And then you have the one who's actively a follower, they view. And then you have the critique, they view. When you add all these different components, you hit your 1 million views. But does it mean that the 1 million views like your song? No. Or they like what you do? No. It's different people with different criterias and looking for something different, and they all come back. So one from an investigative point of view, one from a critique point of view, one from a fan, one from someone to see what ideas they can take from whatever content you've released, and then they can use in their content. So when we always look at somebody and then you say, all these people are like this, that's so wrong, because out of stereotyping, people have lost networking opportunities, job opportunities, relationships, friendships, partnerships. People have built their trust among my people, and that's my people. I'll put some quote in quote there, because you say my people, whether it is the same ethnic or race, whatever it may be, are you sure that my people will help you when you fall down where you are? Chances are is those that you have stereotyped will be the one to give a helping hand. And if you don't, and this is where politicians get the best of everything, they will pin tribes, races, economic classes against each other. So you'll hear someone say, those people who are driving, they are rich. Okay, so do you want to work all the rest of your life, or are you not anticipating one day you will drive? Let's say someone gave you a car. Will you now say, I'd rather walk, I don't want to drive? Because when you drive, so you are also under the stereotyped club that you once stereotyped, if that makes sense. So you can stereotype someone thinking you're the smart one, but you're the dumb one. And the person you're giving more value and credit to could be the problem. That is why you'll find, for example, in a church setup, people will put so much emphasis and no, this pastor or this minister or whoever it is saying is saying everything true, but there's no one validating it. There's no one critiquing it. You just want to believe what they say, but they could be a criminal who just went put on a clock. Not everyone who goes to theological school went to be a minister of God. Some went to learn what's all this business with theology and why do they believe the way they believe, so that they can come up with their own belief equals cult. There's another one who's going there with good intention to learn and to grow spiritually. There's another one who's thinking, how can I make money? So what do? They go to this theological school, learn what they need to learn, and then they do what they now taking Bible out of context and build a religion out of it. Second cult. So you'll have all these different people. Like when you go to school, not everybody goes to school ends up successful. Someone goes to school, some end up picking the ideas and putting them into practice. It's like the lecturers. There's someone who's lecturing since time immemorial, but they've never written a book. They have never done anything in respect to what they teach. Yet what they teach has made people become best of the best. When you choose to stereotype, because that's a personal choice, when you stereotype someone because of a bias you have against them, because you want my people, my race, my tribe, my crowd, my family, yet your crowd, your family, your people are doing all the wrong things, but you do not want to go and get out of that. What happens eventually? A good case in scripture, book of Judges, when the Benjamites refused to give out the men who had done evil to the concubine who they had defiled from the priest. What happened eventually? They said, "This our people, everything." What ended up happening? The other tribes came fighting them. If they could only just give out the people who had an issue and say, "Hey, don't ban us, take your person." And a very good example is like the way Abigail approached David. Because of the fault of Nabal, she was wise enough to realize, if I don't do something, David and his men are coming. So she gives them the food as they are, reducing their anger. And then in her wisdom, she saved everyone, even inclusive of her husband, who eventually got dealt with. What am I trying to say? When we come up with this, how many people, your own family members, aren't relatives the one people who bring you down? Yet when someone stands up and tell you, your uncle, your grandfather, your parent, your sibling has done ABCD, you say, no, these are my people. Really? Really? And then you want to stereotype the other individual or community and say, no, our people are better. Or like politicians do. They steal from you, my people, and then say, you see, those people, those other people from there, those are the ones, because they have come into our country, yada, 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 they are the ones. And then you're thinking, yeah, but you're forgetting, they do just stole everything from you. But they say, no, if they're stealing, they're doing good stealing. But those people, those ones are they're doing the, hence the xenophobias, there's this whole cleansing, or they call it the cleansing, quote unquote. Let me put it like that, because what are you cleansing? Taking another person's life isn't cleansing. That's murder. It's not justified. But people will justify that under my people. My. But your own will put you 6 feet deep. Like that. And don't blink. stereotyping is dangerous because God could use someone, that person in stereotype, to be your way out, help you, or you help them. But because you've put them in a group and said, all people who are like this race or this tribe or this, then you lose that one opportunity. Or you harm someone and that person was coming to help you, or you are to help them. Be very careful. If you have that seed running through you, ask yourself this question. The same way I will critique someone within, use the same criteria to critique everyone. Don't be biased on how you critique people. Use the same approach. If it's a politician, look at their track record. From the moment they were a politician, is there anything they have done that validates them to stand where they stand, claim what they are claiming? Can they validate by their action? If he's a man or woman of cloth or clock, however we choose to look at it, what is their track record? Is this pastor or priestess or whoever it is, what's their track record? What cases have they had before you sit down and say, yes, amen? Before you critique anyone, also look at yourself. Because sometimes we project who we are because nobody knows your story. It's like when you look at someone who has put on the prison gown and say they're the criminal. Nah, you're no different. The only difference is they got caught, you didn't. Or you didn't project your action, but in your head, man, you've done all the evil. The only difference is they got caught, you didn't. So stereotyping is dangerous. So don't be biased in your critique, in trying to validate anyone or anything or community. The same way you will look upon, let it be on the same line, fair and square. But the moment you want to, my people, my, that's the moment everything and every wall comes crumbling down. Because that person you are projecting against could be the reason as to why you are able to have that meal at the end of the day. If they didn't open their shop or their supermarket, you didn't have that bread, that milk. So stereotyping is a no-no. Don't do it. And when the seed comes, uproot it while you still have the chance, or destroy everything and blame yourself.